All set.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the East Gloucester Veterans Memorial School Building Committee to order. And this meeting is being recorded by video and audio in accordance with the state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and banning certain gatherings, such as an in-person meeting of the school building committee is not possible. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time. Thank you. And Yash, can we have a roll call vote for attendance?
Good evening to one and all. Jonathan Pope,
Here.
thank you. Ben Lemus,
Yes.
thank you. Katie Clancy,
Here.
thank you. Richard Safar,
Present.
thank you. Stacy Kapun,
Not here.
Matthew Fusco,
Not here.
Amy Pascarello,
Not here.
Grant Harris,
Present.
thank you. John Dunn,
Here.
thank you. Gary Frisch,
Here.
thank you. Tony Gross,
Not here.
Caitlin Muniz,
You're muted, Kate.
Here, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
thank you. Adam Rosell,
No.
okay, we have 8 votes.
We have 8. For the public, I would just like to say that we have submitted a new membership, and we have 2 new members. Well, actually 3. Maya Verga, who is a non-voting member, and Tony Gross and Stacy Capone. We have lost a couple of members. Jason Manning is no longer on the committee. And Joe Lucido and Greg Camatori and the mayor are all non-voting members. So our current membership is 13, which requires 7 for a quorum. So we have 8, and so we have a quorum. So that being said, the next order of business is the approval of the East Gloucester Veterans Memorial School Building meeting minutes. I always have trouble with that. Of May 12th, 2022. Are there any corrections or omissions? Seeing none, I move that we approve the meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay. Yash, can we have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Jonathan Pope,
Yes.
thank you. Ben Lemus,
Yes.
thank you. Katie Clancy,
Yes.
thank you. Richard Safar,
Yes.
thank you. Grant Harris,
Yes.
thank you. John Dunn,
I have to abstain. I was not at the meeting.
Gary Frisch,
Yes.
thank you. Caitlin Muniz,
Yes,
thank you. Did anybody else join?
Yes, Adam has joined us. Adam,
Hey,
is-
Adam. We were voting on the meeting minutes from the last month. Adam Rosell,
he's muted.
Adam may not have been there.
No, Adam was absent also, as far as I can.
okay. All right, so it carries 7 in favor and 2 abstentions. That being said, let's move on to the approval of invoices, and I'll hand it over to Brian.
Okay, well, I'm having trouble
Oh,
getting our presentation up. So I don't know if Yash, if you could pull up the invoices, or Mark, if you can,
I'm trying.
but we have our typical invoices. Under the admin, school building committee presentation.
I see school
folder.
building committee.
Yeah, I
but then
texted you.
I see meeting minutes. But if I go on to school building committee.
Yeah, and if you go back
package,
out. Invoices. So I can tell you, what they are. I have the numbers here. But if you can see if you can pull those up in the meantime. So W.T. Rich, their invoice this month is for $2,181,382. It's for, the construction work that they've been doing and the CM fees for the month of May. We're over a quarter of the way through the job. The invoices for this month include work for concrete, steel, glulam, the site work that's been done, masonry, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, door frames, and also miscellaneous metals that we're working on the stair construction. And those are being stored off-site in Tewksbury, but some of them are on the job site now. I don't know if all of them have been moved over, but I saw today that some of them are already on site. So that's for WT Rich. For Doran Whittier, their invoice this month is $88,840. And that's for their basic construction administration services in the month of May. CBRE's invoice for $60,000 is their standard project management fees for the month of May. And UTS also has an invoice. This is our testing service. They provided owner's testing for the concrete, grout, and steel. Number of different tests with the work that's been going on, and that amount was $5,676.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion that we approve for payment the 4 invoices as presented, WT Rich, Doran Whittier, CBRE, and UTS, for a total amount of $2,335,868.26. And I so move.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing, oh yes, you have your hand up, but okay. Seeing none, yes, can we have a roll call vote?
Brian,
Jonathan Pope?
I found
Yes.
the presentation.
Pardon me? Oh, you
Since I
found the
I
presentation.
interrupted, I found the presentation.
Okay, well, we're voting on it, so
Understood.
everybody has it. I mean,
Yeah, it's in the,
it's in the folder.
Okay.
I'm looking
yeah,
at
it's
it.
in all of your folders.
Okay, so yes, I voted yes.
Thank you. Ben Lemus?
Yes.
Thank you. Katie Clancy?
Yes.
Thank you. Richard Safar?
Yes.
Thank you. Grant Harris?
Yes.
Thank you. John Dunn?
Yes.
Thank you. Gary Frisch?
Yes.
Thank you. Caitlin Nunes?
Yes.
Thank you. Adam Russell?
Yes, if you can hear me.
We can hear you, Adam. Good. Okay, that's it. It carries unanimously, and we'll move on to our next item, which is reports and updates. So we'll start with the monthly update. Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan.
Um,
Mark, are you able to share your screen?
Well, it
with the
says that you're
PowerPoint?
it says you are working on it, so it's locked. I'm trying
Yeah,
to open, I'm trying to open a read-only copy, but it's
Okay.
not opening.
Well, you pretty
um,
much have the information in your packet, but I will run through it. I can, go through the information here. Unfortunately, until that opens up, we won't have a visual to go along with it. But the first item is, the overview of the project. So the project continues to project an on-time completion. The contract manager is actively managing various scheduling components. There have been some changes this last month. Those do occur from time to time, as different trades finish up earlier, finish up later, and then the schedule needs to be adjusted. And we can go over that a little bit more, but you would see that if you looked at the schedule updates that were in your package. The budget, the project is still tracking to the budget that we've established, so that's good news. No cost overruns on that standpoint. And in terms of progress, the initial site work, utilities, foundations, and steel, all of those are complete. And building A has all the slabs complete, and building B is scheduled for a slab pour next week. Frame and rough-ins are underway in building A. And the main issues that we're having on the project continue to be the COVID-related supply, labor, and material challenges. But in general sense, we're tracking on schedule and on budget and making good progress. So in terms of the activities of all the team members on the team, not much really has changed. The OPM continues to manage the overall project, both on and off the site, ensuring project quality, efficiency, managing community interactions. The architect continues to be busy with submittals, clarifications, and field inspections, as well as participating in other project meetings. And the CM, of course, is managing the day-to-day construction activity and the safety on site, which is a very important component. And the team continues to work well together. That's very important, to have this overall success, is that each party, respects the other party, that, we help each other out, and we seek to benefit the city in every aspect.
Hey, Brian.
Yep.
Just to interject 1 second. So I continue to appreciate the slide that has the different roles, of the team members, but then particularly note the project outcomes column, or, so on the far right. And that's really helpful. That's sort of just clear summary there about what things have completed, what's underway. But then, of course, again, the project is tracking on schedule and tracking on budget. So I just wanted to call that last column out of project outcomes, which is just a nice quick summary.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep.
Moving on to the financials of the project, we've expended about a third of the project funds. And as we've said, we are tracking within the allocated budget and the allowances that have been set. We will be getting ready to process some proposals for some quality control testing for the roof. So the numbers on the owner side and the overall contract value, those will go up, but that's still within the amount of budget that we have for that.
I can share my screen. Mark, I think so you're sharing the wrong screen.
I'm sharing what? The wrong one?
Yeah.
Well, we're
Open the
not seeing the
browser.
presentation.
Oh,
On the
that's funny.
screen.
I'm seeing it on mine. All right. Yash, why
Yeah,
don't you,
so how about if Yash shares it?
that works for me.
And I'm still old school here, right? Just doing without all the props.
Otherwise,
Yep, good. There we go.
Can you guys see my
Okay,
screen?
so we've covered, so
Yes,
we've covered
thank
the
you,
project funds. So, you can see that little white gap, because that's at the very top. That's because there's still some remaining funds for these additional contracts that still need to be managed. So one of those is the one I just mentioned for some additional testing that's will need to be performed on the roof. So you can move on to the next slide, Yash. Okay, so the contract award 61.7, that remains the same. The subcontracts, that's gone down from last month because we have awarded 2 additional subcontractors. One of them is for window treatments, and the other one is for the theatrical drapery and rigging. And we'll go over that in just a second here after this slide. We continue to deal with a lot of potential change orders. The overall owner-related change orders right now are tracking towards $100,000, but we have not issued any change orders at this point. We do expect to have a change order documenting some of these potential change orders next month. And that continues to track within the budget as well. So thanks, Yash. So here are the details, for those 2 LORs. So both of these did come in higher than we had initially anticipated. But in the overall buyout of all these subcontracts, we continue to remain below the estimated amount. So that continues to be good news, because that means that these are additional funds that are available on the project. Whatever's left over in the buyout will roll over into the CM contingency. So it gives them some additional funds to manage the outcome of the project. If they need to increase some of the costs to speed up the schedule, something like that, they have funds available for that. Moving on to the overall cash flow on the next slide. Does anybody have any questions about anything so far? I'm going through this kind of fast. Okay.
Brian,
So the
Sorry, Brian.
details, yes,
so just this is for follow-up afterward because it's not related to this project, but we're going to begin a process to look at rehabilitating or renovating, updating the O'Malley and middle school and the high school auditoriums. And so it might be helpful to talk to you again after this, next week or maybe after school ends, about folks that you or WT Rich have been working with on things like the theater drapery and other things, just to give you a heads up on that.
sure. Okay, yeah, we'd be happy to help you out any way we can.
Great, thank you.
Talk about that next week.
Great.
It's good. We're doing a lot of things for the schools in Gloucester to improve it for the students. So the cash flow, the detailed cash flow is in your package. The project expenses, that's the overall one. So if you go to the next slide, Yash. The project expenses were a little bit lower than anticipated this past month. That was due to some of the changes in the workflow at the site. We do expect that the invoice next month will be higher. It's just sometimes it's a matter of when those invoices come in and when they actualize. The cash flow for each of the team members and the OPM and the architect should be fairly consistent for the next few months. The CM billings will be increasing. And the owner, as you can see, with that gray number, the owner expenses have been very low on the project. So there will be some owner expenses that will be coming on later on the job that will bring that number up. Moving on to the schedule. Here you can see the overview of our timeline. We have the upcoming meeting dates for the working group, those are going to be shifting to Thursdays at 2 p.m. So everyone's aware of that. And the next school building committee meeting is scheduled for July 14th. So I'd like to be able to keep these dates if we can. I know, during the summer, a lot of people are away. And, it's very important that we have a quorum for these meetings so that we can have a timely approval of the invoices and any project changes that need to happen in order to keep the project on schedule. So I guess I just want to ask if there are any members here tonight that will definitely not be able to make the July 14th meeting. Okay, so we'll go ahead and keep that date, and we should be able to have a quorum then for that.
Brian, sorry, could you or Yash send out a meeting invite to all the members, a calendar invite to everybody? Because that would help it get on our calendars so we don't forget these things. Like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Okay. And also on the meetings, we had talked last month about setting up a keying meeting. So we did get some information, the information that we need to move forward on that now. So we will be scheduling keying meeting at some point later, but it's not anytime in the near future. Okay, Yash, you can move on to the next one. So in terms of, an update on the OPM, as I said before, it's much of the same activities that go on now at this stage in the job. We're focused on financial issues and assisting with the coordination and review of construction issues, as well as ongoing monitoring, reporting, and management. On the community interactions, which we also handle, you can go to the next slide there, Yash. Those have been very good. I was talking with the superintendent today, and it really seems that the additional communication that we've been doing in the outreach to the community has helped a lot to improve the relations. There really have been no issues whatsoever. We've had some extended work days. We've had some Saturday work We've had to have the lights on. So the lights actually are on now. We got our electrical permit. So that keeps the facility safe at night, and it allows the workers to work during the day, especially like today, when it was overcast, it starts to get very dark within the space, even without it being fully enclosed. So all those things are going well. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have a concrete pour coming up next week. So notices on that have already started to go out. That's going to be a very large pour that's going to be in building B on the second floor. So that's the gymnasium, the media room, all of that. Moving on to the architect's work. Yeah, just past that one. Also, not too much different from last month. We're kind of in a routine here, getting through these things. They're still very busy with the submittals, RFIs, etc. But the peak of the submittals have passed, so that's really good for the team because it's taking off some of the strain of getting all these submittals reviewed. This has been very important given the market conditions that we've been facing. So we've talked about how there are long lead time issues on many different items. So with W.T. Rich's help, we've been front loading the submittals to make sure we have them prioritized and we're handling them as early as possible so that we can get all those materials on site on a timely basis and have them delivered. So that's been a lot of work for the architect, and they've managed to keep up with it, which I really appreciate. And it's good now, like I said, that overburden, if you will, is kind of past and allows them additional time to handle the overall quality control on the project. Moving on to the CM. They continue to take the lead in managing all the construction activities on site and have been doing a nice job. One of their junior staff members, Trisha Patel, who've been working with and enjoyed working with, he's going to be leaving the team because he's moving out of state. So we've appreciated the positive impact that he's brought. You might remember last month we did the walkthrough in the building with the open space camera, and Trish is the one that was walking through and creating that imagery that we were all able to see. So we're looking forward to the new member that's going to fill his shoes and wish him the best of luck as he goes down to Florida. So as I said before, we have had a lot of work that's been progressing on the site. The key activities now for the CM are to get the building enclosed so that we can get the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work all wrapped up and get started on the finishes. Go on to the next slide, Yash. So here you can see the key milestones on the project. I've added a few more for this month, so you can kind of see what's coming up next. And you'll see here that some of them have finished a little early and some of them are a little behind. As I said before, that's kind of a normal part of the process. So just so that everyone understands, a scheduler will put together a planned schedule for the whole construction project early on in the job. And those are predictions that are made with input from a number of different people and cover many different things. But as the project goes, there are certain realities that come into play, whether it's weather, whether it's a staffing issue, or when materials get delivered. And these schedules continually need to be managed and updated accordingly. So if there's one milestone, that might be a little early, one milestone that's a little late, that's perfectly normal. The key is that the project is completed by the scheduled date of substantial completion for next year. And as I mentioned early on, that is what we are tracking to. And also, related to that, we are expecting some increased labor on the site next month. That's also will drive the billings up, as I mentioned before. So moving on, I'll turn it over to W.T. Rich to give us a little snapshot of, more detail about what's happening on the site and take us through the updated drone video for this month.
Hello? Yes.
Is
Tom is in the audience.
Tom on?
But he needs to be brought in.
Okay, I'll.
He's
I'll
in
let
as
them
an
know, maybe They
attendee.
can fix that.
Okay.
I tried to elevate him, Jonathan, and he
Yeah.
declined, but I'll try
He
again.
declined.
Okay, well, if he's not available, we can push play on the drone video. If you can go down to the next
Well,
slide.
I just heard from Tom Hood. He called me. He said he's identified as a viewer or whatever, not a
Yeah, an
participant.
attendee.
So if he can be upgraded, he may be able to weigh in.
I'm trying to upgrade him, but it's not working, but I've allowed him to talk. If he unmutes, you'll be able to hear him.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Do you have the drone video there, Yash?
Just a second, I'll share it.
I don't remember me. Hi, guys. Sorry about that. I don't remember declining. But I'm here now.
No
I've been
offense.
I've been listening the whole time. Yeah, you get the drone video? Just walk through it.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yep. So they keep getting better and better with the production as we move on. We've been same flight pattern, but they've been playing around with the production a little better. I think there's music to this, but
Is Steve K your licensed drone pilot?
he's the licensed drone pilot.
Cool.
And then Diego is the editor. He's been doing
Okay.
a really good job with this and getting it uploaded to YouTube for us. So I thought he put music into it, but probably good that he didn't, because he's one of those young guns that probably likes heavy metal.
Yeah, if you're gonna do music, you have to do something from my generation. Something by the Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin would be nice.
Yeah, I agree. So yes, I mean, as you can see, the exterior framing is well underway. Sheathing as well on the eastern side, on the western side that we just went by. So we're gonna keep chasing that sheathing around as the framing progresses on. You know, not only is there the exterior sheathing going on, but there is a considerable amount of interior framing going on as well. And all of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing interior roughs are ongoing throughout the building. So we're doing very good out there in terms of schedule, progress, and what have you. There's a few minor things to take care of with that's the building B section. There's some detailing to do on the remaining steel. We'll be back next week to finish up. But the exterior site is in great shape. With about 90% of the utilities in. We have our first curb delivery July 1st, and that's going to start really defining the site. So we'll start seeing these videos in late July, late August. You're really going to see the exterior of the building taking shape nicely.
Yeah, if I could also add, Tom, you can see all the roofing material that's stored up there. So
Yep.
that's a case in point of what I was talking about earlier, getting all those submittals processed so that we can get the materials on site ahead of time so that the work can get started. And then also the masonry that I mentioned before that we were paying for. I mean, you can see we've seen now 3 different stairs with the CMU block all the way up to the roof.
So that's where we are. Maybe next month we could do a interior walkthrough.
That would be great.
Well, that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, I just would remind everybody that the appeal will be heard in Boston on next Tuesday at the appeals court. And I'll be attending if anybody wants to come along and for the ride.
Yeah, I'll be there too. No,
Okay, Kathy. So
Yeah.
get in touch with me and we'll make some arrangements. Parking's expensive there. It's not like Newburyport. Okay. Anything else before we adjourn? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second,
Okay. Yash, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Jonathan Pope,
Yes.
thank you. Ben Lemus,
He's not here. He stepped out.
KJ Clancy,
here, yes.
thank you. Richard Safar,
Yes.
thank you. Grant Harris,
Yes.
I'm sorry. John Dunn,
He's left also.
Gary Fresh,
Here. I mean, yes. Yes.
thank you.
Here, there,
Good.
everywhere.
Caitlin O'Neill,
Yes.
thank you. Adam Rosell,
We've lost Adam too.
He's muted.
he's here. You just muted Adam.
and
Yes. Can you hear me?
Awesome.
Yes.
we
My
have some-
connection is horrible.
All right. That being said, is it with everybody? This meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all.
And,
Great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
see you all soon and drive by the site. It's great.
Looks great.